to TWF Dynamite. I am Jim Ross, here with Conan the Barbarian and with Taz. And today on Dynamite, we're going to get to the end of the Randy Orton Buffy Summers fight that had been going on, well, started many months back, probably around January of this year. And we're going to get to the end of that. Well, Jim Ross said, well, you're right about that, Conan the Barbarian says. We're going to see Buffy Summers and Randy Orton fight. And I have the grounds to why Randy Orton is doing this is that he can't fight Ed, so he thinks by fighting Buffy Summers it will be the next good thing. Well, Taz said, I don't really care what Randy Orton, why he's fighting Buffy Summers or not. I think he'll beat her, and that's the end of that. Now let's go to the ring now, Taz says. We'll see how it's all going to play out. Alright. Randy Orton says, if my hand go out like that. I guess one hand like down and hand up. I don't know. I don't know and I don't care. Anyway, here's the way I see it, Randy Orton says. Beating Buffy Summers is a big thing in my eyes since she's a saga. She's a tale. Hell, she's been a good doer since 1997. Wow. No, I take that back. Because Buffy has an unknown untold. She has been a good doer since 1992. Wow. Yeah. I know. And she seems to think she's so cool or everything and stuff. But, you know, she's a saga. She's a tale. And I am the saga killer. And what I do is I kill other folks' sagas and tales with the two most harmful runes. The three most harmful runes. The RKO. So Buffy Summers, you can talk about how you had this great show and all. How it was on WB and then it was on UPN. It was on PAX. And then it got olding. Then it was on FX. And then it was on Lago and Chiller and Pop and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, all the fiends you beat, all the evildoers you beat, after that, you have never beat me. So why don't me and you have the true fight we should have, Buffy? What, the true fight, Randy Orton? Let's go for it. I got nothing to do for about an hour. I got nothing to do for about nothing for a span. Why don't we wrestle now? Yeah, well, here's a fight lord in the ring now. Ding ding ding. Oh, and Buffy Summers just speared Randy Orton. Jim Ross says. And then she speared him again. Then she body slammed him. Jim Ross said, well, that's what you gotta do, Conan the Barbarian said. If you want to beat Randy Orton, you gotta do things like that to beat him. That might be true and all. Might be all true all, and Taz said, but at the end of the day, I don't think Randy Orton is going to lose to Buffy Summers like that. Buffy Summers did not see it coming. Oh, RKO. I told you, Taz says. The RKO. So Randy Kevin Orton is what that means, or the Randy knockout. Taz says, I like this. This is great. Oh, he just punted her. Oh, that's sad. That is sad. 1, 2, 3. Ding ding ding. Here is your winner, Randy Orton. And now Randy Orton has beat Buffy Summers here on Dynamite. And look, he's so bold. He thinks he's the shit for what he done. But now he's standing on the post right now, looking over to beaten Buffy Summers. And now Randy Orton's got something else to say. Well, I can actually stand on the post, see? It worked, didn't it? Alright, Randy Orton says. I'm falling off. Motherfucker. Alright. So at the end of the day, I can't stand it. It won't work. Alright. So at the end of the day, Randy Orton beat Buffy Summers here on Dynamite, which is truly sad. Jim Ross said, I mean, don't get me wrong, Buffy put up a good fight. She did fight Randy Orton to the best of her skills and to the great of her skills and craft. But at the end of the day, Randy Orton beat her. Jim Ross said, yeah, that's right, Conan the Barbarian said. It was sad, but Randy Orton beat Buffy Summers here. The bloodsucker hunter or slayer was beaten. Well, Taz says, now I'm sure Buffy Summers can go right back underneath the stone she came from underneath, because at the end of the day, she's not coming back. They're not going to do anything with her show. We all know that, Taz says. Oh, right, that's a shame. Well, I know one thing. We got Gorilla Monsoon, who is now, we got Gorilla Monsoon now, who is up. We got Gorilla Monsoon, who's now going to be talking with Buffy Summers. Well, Buffy Summers, things didn't quite go well. It was your fight with Randy Orton here on Dynamite. Sometimes you can't win all of them, Gorilla Monsoon. But if Randy Orton thinks this means it's done, and Randy Orton might be a very good wrestler or a fighter, don't get me wrong, he is. But he doesn't care about it like other folks do. You know, it was never his first true calling. You know, Randy Orton won't tell anyone this, but he was a land fighter at one point. And then he got fired from that. So wrestling was more of a backup for him. You know. But anyway, it is what it is. I lost to Randy Orton, and I could come out and make up all the blame I want. But if Randy Orton thinks that this means it's done between the two of us, he's got another thing coming, because this thing is still going on. Well, I also want to say, isn't it true, Buffy Summers, that you've been a good doer since 1992, YL? Yeah, there was that film that some folks out there don't like, and that's where it all started. You know, that's something that that only some or many of my followers would know. A lot of them do know that it was a film, and that's how it all started. But that's not the grounds of it. The grounds is, Randy Orton, yeah, you beat me. But I'm going to fight you again, Randy Orton, and I'm going to beat you. Well, that was my talk with Buffy Summers, and she says she's not done with Randy Orton. Back to you, Jim Ross. Well, thank you, Gorilla Monsoon, for talking with Buffy Summers here on Dynamite. And I'm sure that Randy Orton and Buffy Summers are not done with each other. Not from once, you know. I'm sure there's still going to be a hang-up or a bind between the two of them, Jim Ross said. You got that right, Conan the Barbarian said. You don't come out and say shit about someone, beat them in the ring. I'm sure there's still going to be something between those two. It's still going to be ongoing. The bind, the hang-up, whatever you want to call it, Taz says, Randy Orton beat Buffy Summers once, and I'm sure Randy Orton will beat Buffy Summers again. It is what it is. Don't get me wrong, she's probably beat all kinds of fiends and bloodsuckers and stuff like that. She's been a good doer since 1992 YL, but at the end of the day, she can't beat Randy Orton. You know, she lost to Randy Orton, and it is what it is, Taz says. Well, that's all the time we have here For TWF Dynamite, I am good old JR Jim Ross. For Conan the Barbarian and Taz, we hope you like Dynamite, and we'll see you tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown.